We got to get the DJ. Good
So
morning,
much.
everybody.
So much.
Welcome to the Gospel Two Wheels, where the coffee's hot. That bike right there isn't very fast yet, but your comments are absolutely ridiculous. Lance Frazier, Dave Brandman, Justin McCauley, Scott Copland. Good to see you guys here. As you can see, we have Woodrow Pierce and
Hello, sir.
joining us for another Woody and Morgan show,
Whoop,
where
whoop.
we're going to talk about dirt bikes. So we'll start, Woody, by let's talk about a little bit of nutrition, because you've just been posting about that recently and it looks pretty cool. What brought you to focusing on that right now?
It's actually something that I've been focusing on a lot the past 2 years, but it was about 3 years ago when I got diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis that I started doing a lot of research on like ways that I could help myself around having been diagnosed with the type of arthritis, and that wasn't just taking a bunch of medicine. And so it was like, oh, like there is a lot more that we can do to help our body with the food that we eat than a lot of people will tell us, especially the doctors, right? Because of the fact that
Right.
just kind of the way that it works, that it's interesting because the more I dig into it, like doctors can't speak about nutrition because they're not certified or licensed nutritionalists, right? Because of they have their unions and their boards, and if they start talking about that stuff, then people are going to get in the way of that. And so I would say, by no means have I been diagnosed that my arthritis is in remission per se, but I have definitely, I feel 98, 99% better. And so when that nutrition journey started helping me feel better, then it was like, okay, well, now I want to turn this to the performance side of things. And it's like, I like to work out. I like to ride my dirt bike. I like to do these things. What is it that all these people are talking about? Like, why do these supplements exist? Like sugar, 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 carbs, 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 like all this discussion. And so the past 2 years has been a lot of learning about that so that then I could implement it for myself. And yeah, like then other journeys like running a marathon and everything else, like it's like, okay, like cool, I have a grasp on this now, and I want to be able to put out tools, not rules, of ways that people could start to think about nutrition in the way that they could start to quote unquote up their game. And I say it like that because some people just don't care, and that's okay too. Like I'm not out there to tell people they're doing it wrong. I'm just telling them if they're feeling things, that there may be other pieces and parts that we can work with the puzzle to get a little bit more energy all day while riding, and especially if we're racing, like, and we want to be attacking the trail and moving forward at the best pace as possible.
Right on. Nice. I like it. I if you don't know, we're starting our Enduro Fit Class tonight for
No, I
our
haven't seen that. That's awesome.
our race team um, is part of it, and then it's open to anyone in the community. And I think we have 8 or 10 people coming, and it's basically a functional fitness class designed by a buddy of ours who's a chiropractor and personal trainer, and
Very cool.
and so it's based around two-wheeled sports, mountain biking and dirt biking. And so we got once a week for the next 8 weeks. We're meeting over at the Montrose Flex Rec and probably throwing kettlebells at each other and throwing.
Well, just remember, if you throw one, remember to catch one. Like, don't
Yeah.
just like, because like we don't
I've
need to
actually come up with-
practice taking it to the face. Like, we do that enough on our dirt bikes when we crash. We don't need to practice it.
Right, and I've my wife and I have come up with what I believe is going to be a huge movement here soon. We're calling it Farm Fit, and I'm going to have people come over to my little mini farm, and then they'll give me money to then like do work on the farm and get fit. I feel like that's because there's a lot
You
of
say it like a joke, but in the long run, like people will totally like they're like, wait, you're gonna bust my? I'm gonna pay you for you to kick my ass. I'm in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, we don't need a tractor. We need human pulled plows. And like, just go to the end of the field, man. Go as fast as you can, and then turn around, and come back. You're like, and that's $100. Thanks. Have a great day. So, like, all joking aside, I told my wife, and like, everyone's, yeah, you'll never. I'm like, dude, people pay for the dumbest things all the time. Why not pay to be outside actually working, doing functional fitness, right? And like, I think it would be phenomenal. Robbie Childs jumps in with Farm Fit. He's got an actual, like, real farm. He grows hundreds of acres of potatoes and things like that.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so that we're working on that. We're gonna work on getting some things like, and I need a lot of rocks moved and dirt moved and things like that. They can pick that up and move it to another thing. It's gonna be awesome.
What is oh, is that tri training like triathlon training, Nathan, or is that tri training like tri stands for something else? Because he's right, blackjack is coming up. It's so funny. He reached out to me. He goes, "Hey, just remember, if you're going to compete in blackjack, you need to get a blackjack membership." And I was like, luckily I already had gotten one, but he knows me well. And it's like, you know what? You're right. Like I probably would go into racing a season of a new Enduro circuit and be like, totally forget to sign up as a member. Like I would do that. Like that is something I would do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's 100%. Yeah. We fortunately, the boys and I all have our numbers for Weeby. We got that all taken care of. So the kids are ready to rock. By the way, I'm back on the motorcycle. You probably saw I'm riding my motorcycle. Yeah. The leg is feeling good. My physical therapist yesterday, we had a great discussion about how dirt bikers are all the same and that runners are actually worse. Like the long distance endurance runners are worse about listening to physical therapists and what not to do. Because I go in for my physical therapy. I'm like, well, I've been riding my dirt bike. And she's like, of course you have. I know you people. Like, like, how's that going? I'm like, it actually feels really good. And she's like, okay, that's great. And then she says that endurance trail runners are hands down worse because they won't listen. Like you can tell them 1,000 times, like just stop running for a little bit so we can heal you. And they won't. They just like.
Well, the problem with that is, like say you're going to want to run a 50-mile race, like the amount of miles you have to put in a week, right? The training that you have to do to go do a 50-mile race, like you run every day, all the time. And so when you're like, hey, don't run, they're like, wait, what do I do with all the thoughts in my mind?
Right.
Like, I don't know what to do with those. And that's honestly like why we love to ride dirt bikes so much. And why like on a Monday or whatever, the day after we got to ride, we're just like, man, we feel almost in a zen state. And it's because we finally like dirt biking for us is kind of that place to go put all those thoughts. It's like, we don't have to just think on them. They can just be and float around in the ether for a little bit. But yeah, you tell an ultra runner who is, maybe running 10 to 15 miles, 2 to 3 hours a day, where to put those thoughts. Like, they're like, hell no, I'm going to go run, suck it up. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, totally. 5280 James asked how the shoulder is after my stall and fall. It feels awesome. The noises I made as I hit the ground were the fear of that crash and the worrying about what was going to happen as I hit the ground. Which is weird because I haven't stalled a bike in a long time, and of course I got lots of comments. Oh, my recluse when it does. Anyway, I think it has to do with the MX maps that I put into that bike. That bike, by the way, is an absolute weapon at speed now. But the fact that I think I was in third or fourth gear going really really slow. I should have shifted the thing. But no, it feels good. And the leg feels good after the crash and sticking it out and whatever. So I'm happy. I've still got nerve situations. That's what I'm dealing with in my leg right now. My nerves are jacked up. I think I have to keep stretching my hamstring, keep freeing up those muscles that impinging on my nerve because it's definitely a thing. It doesn't feel awesome, but it's getting better every day.
Yeah, is that like nerve flossing or something that you're doing with your physical therapist?
Yeah, trying to nerve floss and trying to just stretch and like, oh my gosh, my physical therapist, she's this like tiny, skinny little lady, and she inflicts more pain and suffering on my leg than I've ever had. Oh my gosh, she's just digging in with her hands, and she's got this like, she calls it as if a butter knife and a boomerang had a baby. It's like a smile.
Oh, I know the metal thing you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like, I'm like, you just like, is it all your weight just like on that thing? She's like, yep.
What's jacked up is like, it's most of the time it's not. Like we're like on the table like,
yeah. Oh,
she's like, beep, like she's like got like 5% pressure, and it's like she just figured out the right way to hit that knot with the elbow or with the tool you're talking about or whatever, and it's just like,
yeah,
feels like flames or fire.
Scott Copeland, ET on the beta is 2:00 today. I am hopefully meeting Mr. Tim White.
Those wheels look sick, by the way. That's going to be cool.
Oh, dude, that's and the double secret stuff going on in that wheel is arguably a game changer. I can't talk about it. I put the picture up there because I knew some people would like look really closely because the
Scope it
internet,
out.
dude, people on the internet are ridiculous. They must zoom in like into every little thing. I'm like, why are you like? Okay, whatever. I knew they
Well,
would
listen,
do it.
if a woman in a bikini posts a half naked picture, I'm gonna zoom in. It's the same thing with dirt bike parts.
Sure,
Like,
fair
I'm gonna
enough.
zoom in. Like, it's just what it is.
I'm zooming in, and so yeah, I knew they would do it, and they would see eight rim locks around the thing, and just so you guys all know, I really truly can't talk about what's going on there, and I didn't even get clearance to post the picture, but I knew that it would just pique interest, and we're at a pre-production situation. It's not my product, but it's at a pre-production, so we're about done with it, and it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be freaking cool. I'm really excited. So, and
I'm
then
gonna
the
bring that
bike.
picture up right now.
Oh yeah, pull it up. Yeah, it's go back on Facebook a little bit. Just zoom way in. So yeah, Scott Beta, Tim Weig is on his way here from California. He had to go to Washington and then to get the bike and other. Anyway, so he's on his way, and I should see it. Like I said, about 2:00 today up in Grand Junction. I got to go grab it. The
That's interesting. So you've got a valve stem and then 8 rim locks
yeah,
with a Talon hybrid tire. So you've got Rocky Mountain's gummy, kind of newer gummy on there.
yeah.
Huh. All right.
So it's gonna
Let's see
be
how tubeless goes for this wheel.
yeah. We'll see. It's not probably what most people think. So if you're in town and you're wanting to stop by, first of all, come by see the beta. Also, you want to talk about? I'll tell you all about it in person, but I just can't blow it up on the internet yet. I've been asked not to, but it's pretty sweet. And 970 Enduro, you're going to find out where to pick up your new bike. Oh, is Dirt Bike Channel giving away a bike today? I guess they must be. He's always giving.
Oh, is he one of the winners?
No, are you? Oh no, I think they're announcing it. I don't think he's a winner. Yet.
Oh,
he's hoping.
I was like, damn, dude, that's awesome. $25
Yeah.
and you get yourself a bike. Like, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh yeah, someone's saying it's cold in Mississippi, but not Colorado cold. It's actually beautiful here. It's almost 30 degrees this morning right now. And Countershocks is doing a triathlon. Nathan Looney, please tell me you're going to use a Countershock on part of that triathlon. I want to see one strapped to your body, like just below the painted number on your shoulder. So Rich Pierce, Mike Barnato, great to see you guys all here. Mark Odette, what is going down? I'll be on the beta like you. Hopefully, you'll actually come ride with me instead of lying about it all the time and saying you're going to come ride and then not coming. So, what else is going on? So you're starting? Is it next week? Is the start of the season?
Yeah, so Blackjack starts off next season or next weekend, but it's a co-sanction with TSEC. So it's going to be the Red Canyon Enduro there in Fluvanna, Texas. And I have I've got to go back through the Seat Time because on the old Seat Time channel, right, there's probably video because I've been doing TSEC since like 2007 when I started riding it after moving to Texas. So I'm going to try to see if I can find some footage just to remind myself because I haven't been to Red Canyon in so long. I've been asking people for pictures of the parking lot just to see if something would jog some memories and stuff like that. But actually, after we get done here, I drive to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, and I'm flying to Palm Springs because I'm emceeing King of the Motos again. So nice. Saturday and Sunday, we'll be doing that there with Chris Johnson. So King of the Motos this weekend, starting off the 2024 U.S. Harden Duro Series.
Dude, I like it. That's going to be awesome. That was one that I really wanted to try to get to this year because that's more my kind of hard enduro terrain that I have here to practice with Dry Creek and things like that.
Right.
So didn't obviously make it leg, bike, all that stuff didn't happen, but hopefully next year we'll make it to that because, I want to do something that's more in my wheelhouse of what I actually get to ride on more frequently.
Yeah. Well, I feel like too, like for us normal riders, us non-pros, I think the GPS aspect of it also keeps the speed a little bit down. You know what I mean? Like traditionally, most hard enduros, that is the case, right? Like there's just not a ton of high speed. It's a lot more technical. But within the regard of that, because it's GPS, also, it kind of, you're having to look down. Now, granted, you don't have, it's not something huge like a road book, like a
Yeah.
rally where you would have something really big. So you got to really kind of look down for your waypoints and stuff like that, and which direction you're headed.
Nice. Yeah. No, one of these days we'll try it out. I'm gonna try to find a Harden Duro to throw the beta on the ground a few times and see if we can't improve on last year. I mean, it would be hard to not improve on last year since it was so ugly. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's going to be a ton of fun. And Woody, when are you going to come out this year? How are we going to make that happen?
Man, I'm trying to figure that out because with knowing that a lot of my time and money is kind of going to blackjack, and then they re-announced the series is like they're just not racing in August. There's a race in June and in July now. My kids are going to go to Camp Ozark up in Arkansas, so there's a lot of time and money going into that too. So it's like I'm trying to figure out and then there's no Burrow, right? It doesn't look like the RMEC put out their schedule. I didn't see the Burrow on it, so it's kind of like. I don't know. To be completely honest, I don't know. And I'm trying to, it may wind up being a death march. It may be one of those things where it's not the summer and I come out a little early or plan to stay a day or two late. If I can't work out the summer to get up there.
Absolutely. So Garrett,
you're right, Garrett. You're right.
Yeah, he does need massive redemption. Also, the Moab thing, Harden Duro, I would actually like to do that. But and then Robbie says the grinding zone's coming up. I won't be ready for that. And the boys and I are racing the Gypsy Tales 500 down in Mesquite in March.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna race with my older son. He and I are gonna be on a team. It's an 8-hour and 20-minute race, hare scramble. And then my younger kid is racing with his buddy who he battles with in the open sea class. Like he this guy were like back and forth every race, and so they're teaming up to race together against Thomas and I, and it's gonna be rad. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
That'll be cool. And I think that's like so neat that that our community can have that kind of camaraderie, right? Like you said, they've been battling back and forth, but then they're going to go team up because they know it's like, listen, we're about the same speed. Like we are going to be a threat to be reckoned with in the class that we sign up for as a team. So let's go do that instead of not enjoy each other's company or whatever, diss each other or be stupid or whatever. Like, so that's cool. That'll be fun for them for sure.
Yeah, it's super rad. And that kid is actually on the race team with us too. So I'm excited because those, they like each other. They're both, really close speed, but they also want to beat each other. So they're going to push each other really hard, which is awesome.
Yeah, that'll be phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to see what you were going to say. I saw that some Claude was talking about Camp Ozark in his hood. Yeah, it's like I love Arkansas, so if I could spend a little bit more time there. So what the plan is we're going to drop the kids off at Camp Ozark, and I think it's going to be a couple days in Bentonville and then a couple days in Eureka Springs, and I'll go mountain biking. But I'm going to work. So, because I can work remote, so I'll just work remote during the day, but in the morning, get a ride in in the afternoon, maybe switch up with some trail running, stuff like that. But my wife loves Eureka Springs, so we'll probably spend some time there and then take like a full week after that and go up to like Branson area. Cause there is stuff to do for the kids up there. And there's a couple different theme parks and stuff, but it's like, when you do that, you're like, well, I don't know. How do you bring a dirt bike? Like I don't know, man.
With the van you can, Woody. With the van you can always have a dirt bike. So, and I know you have so that's no problem.
But I don't have room to fit all the kids, all their shit, all my shit, and get them to Camp. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think you can. I believe in you. I think I 100%.
I'm gonna ask Bolted on. Is like, hey, can you make some seats that attach to your rack with seat belts, and that way my kids can be secured to the van when we drive across the country.
Yeah, or there's always the cheap U-Haul trailer rental. So
that's true.
I mean, I'm just saying, no excuse.
I want you to keep talking me into it. That's what I want. I want you to keep talking me into it.
I'll keep it up. And Roger, I am super stoked to team up with my kid. Especially now that my kid is way faster than me. And someone mentioned that my boys were flying in that last video. That video does not do justice to how fast Thomas passed me and then how fast Ewan was going in the rocks. Like, those two are on another level. Like, they've hit this, like, comfort with the bike that has come from, riding since they were 3 to it's so much fun. And they just, oh my God. Like, Thomas now, he's just back there waiting. He just sits there back, and I can hear his and then he just comes by me at will, like, yep, and it's over. I'm like, the second time he passed me, I was seriously on the gas as hard as I wanted to be on the gas, and it was like I was throwing an anchor out. It was a hell of a thing. So it's awesome. And then Robbie, yes, I gorilla taped them in. The kids.
I'll never get them out. Like,
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah, like, get the switchblade. Guys, get the box cutter. I'm going to get my kids out of the van.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, a ton of you guys are watching. Jump out of the chat, hit the thumbs up, and then come back in. Otherwise, I'll kick you in the face. My mom is not on here, which is sad. She's actually on vacation playing high-level croquet in West Palm Beach. No joke. Like, it's crazy. Like, my parents are it's a funny thing. I won't go into it, but they're big into, like, tournament level croquet.
That's amazing. I didn't know that was a thing, and that is so awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know it was either.
Is the next step up from croquet like polo? Like, is that how bougie your parents are?
Except for the croquet. Yes, that is how bougie my parents are. But except for the polo, they're old. It would be more like the transition would be from, like, golf and polo to croquet, because you're just too old to be, racing around on a horse and maybe fall off.
Well, I guess, yeah, there is that.
So they're both 75. They're actually both in great shape, but I don't think they want to fall off of a horse. And Terry, TBT, what is up, my man? And Garrett, yeah, what happened, Dad? You used to be fast. Actually, the quote from Ewan, my younger kid, who's behind me going through these rocky things, and we first take off, we get this rocky stuff, and he's right on my ass, right? Just, yeah, and you can hear his 125 just screaming back there. And I get through a section because Thomas had a buddy with him who's new to dirt biking and also way, way, way new to rocks. So he was kind of hanging back there with him to make sure he was good. So we stopped to take a break and let them catch up. And I'll never forgive him. He goes, "Dad, were you going full speed?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to beat you senseless." Absolutely,
son.
Dude. I'm like, remember who pays the mortgage, the gas bill, all that crap. I swear to God. And
who takes pictures of you when you pass out?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tough kid. You can't even stay awake all the way home. Oh, Mr.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
So good.
Well, how old's Ewan?
He's 14. He'll be 15 next month.
When can you drive in Colorado? 15 or 16?
16, but realistically, it'll be 16 and a half, because in Colorado, you have to have your permit for a year, and to get your permit right at 15, you have to pay a whole bunch of extra money. It's stupid. So we just let them wait till they're 15 and a half, get their permit, and then 16 and a half, they get their license. So he's about a year and a half out.
I remember the first race where my dad was like, I was like, I can't stay awake. It's your turn to drive. And I'm like, 3 months into driving regular vehicles, right? Not Dad's van with our 3-rail trailer. That was the most nerve-wracking shit ever. I'm like, but now that I'm a dad, right? And I know eventually that'll be the case with Liam. I don't know that I could sleep. Like, the first time that my son's going to drive the van, like, there's no way that I'm like handing over the keys for like all that money in my life.
Yeah.
For this kid with, like, I don't know how he must have been tired, because but it'll be funny when Ewan has to realize that it's like, oh wait, like, that's why Dad drinks so much coffee, because when you get done with this, we have to get home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and so Thomas and both my kids are so awesome and different. So when Thomas got his permit, we were racing, and he we were over Natarita or something like, so not a terribly long way away, about an hour and a half. And we got done with the race. I'm beat down, tired. Of course, he's Mr. Woohoo. And I'm like, all right, dude, you're driving. And he's like, okay. So he jumps in the van and drives. And I fell right to sleep. I was like, boom, out. Because that kid is so careful and so calculated. And like, I wasn't worried, not even in the least. The flip side is my son, Ewan, who,
yeah, don't trust him. No
if
offense,
I give him the keys to anything, it's like absolute terror. Like the whole time, because he's Ewan. Like he barely pays attention walking, right? Like he is a freaking wreck waiting to happen. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll see how that goes with him.
I love it.
Both Ruth and I have expressed lots of worry about that kid getting his license.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I'm like, it'll be all right. No, Antonio, we will not forget to send it. I promise.
Though my send it level is a lot different these days, I will admit that.
Fair, yeah, that's fair.
Been the hardest thing. Like coming into this, ever since I rode with Cole last year, and it's kind of like, okay, I need to learn how to not have a trail riding mentality anymore, and that's like what I've been practicing is kind of like remembering to always be attacking the trail and to be looking at the trail ahead, not to know what's coming, but to know how to ride it faster, right? What's the quickest way through, in the sense of like you get to an enduro, you're going to be following arrow to arrow, right? Versus like following the trail all the time, because if you watch the pro guys in the 20s and the 30s at the National Enduro, if you're on 40 and 50, like they straighten the trail out as much as they can. And not that I want to be, not that I think that I'm good enough to do that, but even just trying to remember that when I go ride, I'm trying to find moments of times to ride, to attack, to try to make up time at all moments. And man, it's hard to flip that switch again. Like thinking back, like I have no idea how I made it to the AA class back in the day. Like it's crazy. I don't know if it's you truly do have just a youth mentality where you don't think about the consequences or something like that, or like you just do it enough that it becomes the norm. Do you know what I mean? Like, but man, like right now, like that's where I feel like I'm struggling the most is like, is removing that trail pace mentality of just riding my dirt bike, which is fine. But again, I want to go race. So I'm trying to like switch back to having a racer mentality. And that has been difficult. Yeah.
It's super hard. And like me having 2 months off, with my leg and still, it's still not being 100%, like just riding with the kids. Like we rode, I rode on, the Sunday with Garrett, who's here watching, on his new Sure Can't, which couldn't first thing in the morning, by the way. It fouled a plug sitting in the parking lot. I'm like, yes, the Sure Can't is canting. No, dude, it could not have been perfect. It's on video, the whole thing. It's so good. But we went for a trail ride. I just was taking it easy, having fun. We rode some harder stuff, and my leg did great. I was really happy. Then I go out with my kids, who, Garrett talks about riding with his kids a lot, picking up speed. My kids, it's the opposite, dude. My kids are fast now. And they only want to go fast. Like they don't care about hanging out. I mean, Thomas, I was proud of him for hanging out with his buddy, because he normally is just like, peace, like, and just goes. But those kids want to go fast. So when I rode with them, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot how to go fast. Like I forgot how to like actually push it. And so I, a little bit more. And I'm excited because I'm going to take racing pretty seriously this year. Like not crazy seriously, but like I want to, have a good showing and be, competitive and not be like the guy that,
you want to feel like you gave your best effort.
Yeah, exactly.
And
let's see. That. Marco, right. Tips for riding, for getting faster, says Liz Silva. Ride with faster people. The other thing I can say, Liz, is honestly the thing that helps me the most is work on fundamentals. Work like grain in your turns and your stops and your just get that so natural that you don't have to think about any of that body position, clutch, throttle, whatever. And I pick up the pace fast. Like if I go do figure eights for like 30 minutes and like really work on it and then go ride, I'm way faster than if I just go for a ride. And that's just me.
That's how I like to warm up. I like to warm up with kind of like clutch and brake and throttle. Like I'll do stand-in wheelies. Now, granted, I can't ride a wheelie, but in the long run, I just compress the front end, stand it up, compress the front end, stand it up, compress the front. You know what I mean? Like, because again, you're starting to warm up the mind, you're starting to warm up the body, all that kinds of stuff. And then once I get that done for 5 or 10 minutes, then I'll move on to what you're talking about, finding something that I can turn into a little figure eight to start moving and shifting the body back and forward like that, and then warming up, getting used to being in the pocket and kind of like starting to feel out just how everything's going to work that day.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott Schwager, the dates we're going to be at Wildcat are, we're going to get there the 17th, which is a Saturday. We're going to ride 18, 19, 20. So, yeah, if anybody's around, come on out to Wildcat in Arizona. It's out near Cave Creek. We're going to be riding. And, yes, John Perryman, it's tough getting old. It's funny, I was talking to my buddy, the Arkansas Assassin, Mr. Lane Smith, and he, he's 60. I'm almost 50. And we were joking that, like, our bodies are definitely older and, not as fit and whatever. But, like, my brain is seriously no older than, like, 15 or 16. I'm, like, fired up, like, woo, let's go ride dirt bikes. Like,
If you ask our wives about that, they'll agree, too. They're like, no! Yeah. Once a week, man. Once a week. You shut up.
Yeah. Oh, dude. My wife, we talk about it all the time. In fact, she's getting a little bit like that, too, with her little farm and the goats and everything. She's having so much fun. It's like, I feel like a kid. Like, this is so fun. Like, life is so fun. Like, right now, I'm having a blast. I mean, I get to do this with you guys. I get to buy bikes and put parts on them and ride them. It's just like, seriously, I don't know. I like pinch myself every morning about how lucky I feel right now in my life. So it's awesome.
I agree.
Make sure I don't miss anything. Michael James Daniel.
I was going to say, Liz, go check out the Seat Time channel. There is a video that I did with Cole Kirkpatrick, and he gives us his 4 tips to riding faster, like in that video. And that's the video, that's the content and the time that I'm talking about that made me realize that I was like, kind of behind the curveball when it comes to attacking. If we're just riding our dirt bike, that's totally fine. Like, you don't need to be fast to do that. If you're having fun, you're having fun. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's a great video, and he has some really good points in there. Cole is still extremely competitive in the AA class when we race any of the races. So
yeah, oh yeah, and like I look at Rick Emerson. I don't know how old Rick is. Well into his 50s, and still will overall an RMEC event. I mean, and went to 6 days, and like, age is clearly just a number. And by the way, yes, Nathan, L. Kevin is phenomenal. You need to come meet him. That's our newest goat. I won't go into the goat thing because it turns out I like goats about as much as I like anything else. They're the single greatest animals on earth. They're so freaking fun. But yeah, L. Kevin is rad. James Burr, good to see you. I put your youtube.com/seat time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got that up there. Go check his stuff out, by the way. If you don't, again, I'll punch you in the face. My mom will come hunt you down. You don't want any part of it. I know, you don't want part of that, dude. My mother, Suzanne Spradling, I wish she was here on right now, is one of like 3 people who have knocked me down hitting me in the face. Like, ever. In my almost 50 years, she's one of the only people that have been able to knock me down by hitting me in the face. She's that tough. I deserved every
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I told her bad things one time, and she's like, "Woo, boom," and knocked me down. Like, I was like 14. I hit the ground so fast, and she's like, "You ever talk to me like that again? It's gonna happen again." Oh, yes, ma'am. So
understood.
Got it. So, let's see. Well, let's do one more question because Woody, I know you need to boogie. I also need to boogie. So someone shoot us a question either for me or Woody or both. Um, 17, really, I'm thinking, 12, maybe 13. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if you're 17, sorry, dude, you may think you know the world like you are 8. Like, just step it back a little bit and let
Oh,
the
no,
world
no,
come to you, and don't
no,
go.
David. No, I think David is older than that. He's laughing at me saying that I was thinking I was 17. He's like, he's actually more like 12 or
I
13.
like it. I like it. I
Yeah,
like it. Well, probably 8, but yes, 12 or 13. And
yeah.
I'm like right there with you. So there's no.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I got to say a shout out to the Broads, Bowhunter 1009. What up, Broads? How's it going, man? I haven't seen you in a while. Um, oh, and Thursday Night Rides, guys, coming as soon as the time changes. Keep an eye on the channel or
That is
on the
so awesome.
Facebooks as to when we start that doing. Roger heard the Pinton is not running yet. I'm waiting on a flywheel puller, which should hopefully be here this week, so I can get the flywheel off and clean that up. It's not sparking very hard right now, so
Yes, you are right, Robbie. You're exactly right. Like, they know exactly how much gas is needed to get from point A to point B, and once they're at point B, it's brake to get from now, which is that point A in the turn, right? In the turn, not to the turn. They don't brake. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy to watch and listen to those guys. It's funny. Like, there's another video on the old Seat Time channel, getting passed by Cole Kirkpatrick. And again, if you want to listen to what it sounds like when those guys come by you, like, you can hear a lot of what they're doing and what we're just not. And which is exactly what Robbie is saying there. They are just on it at a level that we can't comprehend. Now, granted, we're also not used to that speed, which we could go do at a moto track and start to get more comfortable carrying that kind of speed to then bring over to the trees. But you got to want that. Like, you got to work on that consistently to keep kind of building that up.
And GVN88 just got bumped to Vet B class. Going to be a slow B guy. Any tips? Garrett says more cardio.
Have fun.
Yeah,
have fun. Fuck it.
Have fun. And I cannot harp enough on working on fundamentals. I really can't. Like, I never did that until the end of last year. And I actually, because I struggled last year racing. Like, I did okay, but not great. Not as good as I had the year before. And I think a lot of it was because I let a lot of that fundamental training go. Like, I just wasn't doing it. I was bored with it, right? I'm just going to go ride and ride a lot. And I do. But if you want to go fast, again, it doesn't matter, right? Just have fun. That's the most important part. But if you want to go fast, I cannot harp enough on working on fundamentals, all the little fundamentals, like set up a left-hand turn, set up a right-hand turn, set up a 180 turn left, 180 turn right, and just like practice till it's so boring and so old that you just do it without any thought at all. So that's my personal tip.
And like, what I'm like, if I could say too, on the mental side of things, like, what would you want to have to feel fulfilled at the end of the season, right? Like you just said, you bumped up to the B vet class. I'm the slow B guy. Like, I hope you don't have the mindset that you're going in trying to win this class, right? Because all you're going to do is beat yourself up by the end of it because you never did. But if you're like, hey, I really just want to make sure that I learn something, I have a good time, and by the end of it, I'm a little bit faster than I was at the beginning. Cool. Set that goal, that kind of that vision at the beginning of the season, and then check in like every 3 months, every 6 months at the end of the year. And when you look back at 12 months, you can be like, holy crap, like not only did I achieve the vision that I wanted to see, but I exceeded it, right? A lot of times we beat ourselves up because we have these like finite little tiny goals that we set for per race or per this, per that. And we forget to look at the bigger picture of how much fun we had, how many new people we met, how many cool new places we rode, right? Versus like the finiteness of just a race.
Right. Absolutely. 100%. And 970, it seemed like I had bike problems. I had bike problems at the last 2 rounds. I had a brake problem, and that's what is so frustrating because I lost my rear brake, but I had actually started putting in the work at the end of the season, working on my fundamentals, and it was actually feeling really good and riding really well. And then I had brake fade so bad that I lost a rear brake and cost me a ton of time, and that totally sucked. And then the whole starter button thing caused me to DNF the last race. So yeah, it was a hell of an end to the season. But what he's saying, I'm fortunately old enough now to be like, I had fun. Like I had fun, and I'm so fortunate to get to be there with my kids at all these races. And even if my race goes poorly, I'm like, yeah, I'm so stoked on them, right? And we got to camp out, we got to have fun, see all of our friends. It doesn't really matter. Like the result doesn't matter. Obviously, I'm a bit competitive, so it wears on me. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. And when I can walk back, hug my wife, give her a kiss. She's she's the most wonderful person in my life. Everything about my life is just so good, and the dirt biking is just an addition to it. That like if races don't go well, races don't go well. That's all right. I'm not trying to make a living doing it. And if I can just slowly get better technique wise, which I think I could do long into my 80s technique wise, I'm going to lose strength and all that, but I don't know. I'm hoping I want to ride a dirt bike at 90. That's kind of my goal. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just remember to do strength training beyond just riding, right? Because that's the thing. It's like we're at our age, like we're already probably living 10 years past like what our expiration date was a lot of times, just like evolution wise. And so one of the big things is that everything's going to start to deteriorate if we don't keep it in a place that it's trying to still function the way that it's meant to function. And strength training is a great way to do that. Obviously, there's nutrition. There's all those kinds of pieces and parts that can play into it. But even though just riding, just getting seat time is a great way to continue to evolve. But the problems are the times that we get hurt, right? And then we spend 2 months off the bike, or we spend 6 months off the bike, and we don't spend that time actually in physical training or strength training beyond that. That's when we can start. That's when the degradation can truly catch up quickly at our age. And so that's why just having like a consistent weekly strength training routine is, we're not talking about bulking up. We're not doing bodybuilding competitions. We're talking about just kind of strength training. So.
And that we'll shut this thing down. That leads into, if you're interested and you're in the area, 7:30 tonight, Montrose Flex Rec. We're starting a strength training.
That's cool, man. That'll be
going to be really cool. And Don, the guy who's teaching it, is going to work on. He's actually going to build workouts for people that can't afford to continue to go, have a gym membership, because it's expensive, especially the Flex Rec's like $50 a month, and if you got a family, it gets expensive quickly. But he's going to build workouts that people can do at home, right? That they can do with stuff they have. He's actually going to build a whole workout based on just your motorcycle, like picking up, pushing, like doing things with the bike, so that if you already have a motorcycle, you can do the workouts. It's gonna be awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Woody, thank you so much, dude. I appreciate you.
Hell yeah, thanks for having me on.
Thank you everybody for watching Punk Rock Club. You guys know you're my favorite by far. I love you more than
and if you're racing enduros, go check out the Utility Can Caddy.
Yes, absolutely. Check out the Utility Can Caddy. Come to me and check out mine in person. You can hold it, touch it, feel it. Short note on that, not just for enduros, I have stashed little things that I know my children forget in it, so that it's always there.
Almost like the idea was that you're always organized AF. It's
it's almost like someone thought this out very well, and it's been great. Like there's all these gloves, goggles, all these little things that I know my ridiculous children will at some point forget and go, Dad, I'm like, I just need to find a place to put boots, because my kid freaking forgot his boots at home on Sunday. I'm like, really? Like, whatever.
Here we are.
That's my child. All right,
guys, don't forget to turn into King of the Motos. I'll be emceeing the competition. It'll be a good time. And Morgan, I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Right on. You guys have a good one. We will talk to you very, very soon.